I can't believe 2013 is when this game originally came out. It's kind of wild. But here we are, now GTA 5 Enhanced Edition on the PC. And there's a few things that are changed from the Legacy Edition. What? Legacy Edition? Weird. But I wanted to show you what they were. Jumping in, let's have a look. So this, I've actually turned it off. So normally you get a reflection in, some reflections in the car, and you kind of get a basic, whoa, look of the world around you in the reflection here. But there's no, one, there's no traffic, and two, there's no Michael. But if I go over to the settings here and I turn on ray tracing, graphics presets, and go maximum RT, ray tracing enabled, you can see immediately the difference in the reflections. You can actually see the cars that are actually driving around. That's the difference between the graphics kind of baking in the reflections and the game actually providing you with that information. It's kind of trippy, but also it's kind of cool. Like, just the subtle thing of like seeing Michael in the reflection. I don't know. There is one thing that's a bit of a shame with the Enhanced Edition. The textures inside of vehicles are anything but enhanced, as you can see. But maybe that is for the GTA 5 remake coming out in 2028. Now, helicopters serve some uses here in GTA 5, and one of the uses is getting some closer looks at the skyscrapers. And no, it would have been a nice touch. I know, obviously, we knew this wasn't an enhanced edition because it's come out on the PlayStation 5, etc. But it would have been cool if this building was finished 13 years later almost, and it's still not done. I don't know what contractors they've got on, but they are slow. But look at that reflection tech going on there. It's kind of wild. So you can actually see the panes of glass showing you reflections, and the helicopter for that matter. Oh, that's actually really cool. And if I obviously, just to showcase the difference here, very high, so no ray tracing, you can see you've just got the baked image that would have been there. And it still looks pretty good. And it's still pretty immersive if you were doing GTA things. But it just goes to show that is the tech difference. I just thought that was really quite impressive. You can really see the reflections. Yeah, the Maze Bank building actually also has this really interesting mirror-like effect. As you fly around it, you can really see the reflections and everything working kind of in real time, showing a realistic reflection. It looks awesome. But my favorite building by far is this one. It really does look different because it's basically a giant mirror. It's pretty cool. Although, you can start to see some limitations. So, look over there, look at the distance, and look at all the buildings. And then look over there. It just doesn't look the same. But it's kind of cool. I noticed a helicopter coming by. Actually, there are a few issues with this. And I'm going to show you those, actually. Okay, the best way to show you this is online in my big super yacht, which I completely forgot was a thing. But here we are. Into the hot tub. Come on. Oh. Perfect. All right, cool. So, this was a really weird find that I found earlier today. If you look, you can see the reflections of my character in the thing here. So yeah, normally there's no reflection there, and it looks as it looks, right? So, it's kind of a cool change that you get all those reflections, the glorious reflections. You can see we've got our character, which makes a lot of sense, right? Looking good, but the really weird mist... I don't know, is it mist? It's just a weird thing. You'll notice that there's actually no water in the reflection, which is kind of a weird thing. So what you're looking at there is the plants and geometry under the water, but there's no water. So it's not a flawless system by any means, but it is interesting. I mean, I did need to like stand on my super yacht to kind of even spot this weird thing, so it's probably not a big deal, but yeah. Ooh, look. See a killer whale. That's wild. Huh. That's actually sick. Can I see? Oh, I can see him in the water. Yeah. Relax, guys. It's not a real whale. One amazing thing, actually, is the loading times. So to go from online to Trevor, for example, is so much quicker. Look at this. It's so fast. There is a requirement now, though, to... Nice. Cheers, Trevor. To say that you have to have a SSD rather than an old school hard drive. But let's just try flicking over to Michael. See how quickly that happens. Oh, that wasn't very far. But it seems a lot faster than I remember anyway. Again, with the reflections looking good. Let's go Franklin. Who remembers Cloud Simulator? Like, it was pretty brutal back in the day. He started walking off. Nice. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Nice. I can see my legs in the reflection. Beautiful. As intended. Okay, before we get into the lighting, this is actually a really good opportunity to see how the ambient light works in the game. So, yeah, that looks pretty nice. But if I do some nice changes, you can see there's such an obvious difference in the shadows. Do you notice the hard lines in the shadows? Which, I mean, to be fair, doesn't look awful. Doesn't look bad. If we put it back on, you can see it's a lot more diffused. The reflection kind of has color to it as well. It's just a really nice, subtle change, which, to be honest, if you weren't seeing it side by side, you might be hard-pressed to notice the difference. But it is definitely there, and it is definitely worth noticing. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, hell no. Trevor doesn't let thieves get away. Come here, bro. Where'd you go? No, 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 no. Yeah, got him. Okay, so this is a pretty good location to kind of hang out. Whoa, whoa. Easy, bro. Wait, because of all the lighting around here, it's pretty good. But we need to make it rain. So let's see what this area looks like with the rain. Actually, this, for example, if I get off my bike here, you can see the nice pink hue on the ground. That's pretty cool. I don't even know. I'm assuming that's in the base game anyway, though. Oh, no, it's not. Whoa. So you've got a bit of light from that orange, but not from the individual kind of frames there. That's wild. Huh. Okay. That's kind of neat. In fact, you can't really see the orange. Sorry, you can't really see the yellow. That looks really good. Here we go. Here's a good area for lighting here. Lots of glowy lights and such. But I think we need some rain. And let the puddles bring us some light reflections. It looks really good. And here's the thing. I know there's plenty of mods out there that can bring me this kind of technology. Or this look. This super realistic reflections. But it's pretty neat that it's finally come to the PC as the new enhanced edition. But yeah, just for example, let's turn it on and off. You do get some lighting. And actually it looks pretty good, to be fair. But you see how everything's kind of baked, so kind of looks faked in a way. But if you turn it on, it just looks a little bit more grounded, looks a little bit more realistic. A little bit more atmospheric. And it definitely looks better. Like, here's a really good example. You can see the car reflection there, but now you can't. And you see the realism difference, how much of an effect it has. It still looks pretty good, this area, but there's something about seeing the cars in the rain and stuff that really does make a difference. Yeah, more moody. Man, it makes me excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. So very excited. But again, you can see the reflections. And that reminds me. Explosions. Actually, let's have a look at fireworks first of all. Yeah, hang on. Maybe... Yeah, the flames are different now. They definitely look different. Let's blow up a few vehicles here. Ka-dunk. Oh, wow, that traveled. Hold up. Ka-dunk. Here we go. Ooh. Yes, overright. Like, the flames and stuff all look kind of different. The smoke looks different. This is a bad scene. I mean, it's very impressive. But, whoa, that's more than I was I mean, what did I expect? I used a grenade launcher. I just want to show you the explosions. I think they look better. Oh, hello, officer. Goodbye, officer. Oh, man. It's brutal. I don't remember it looking like that. Hang on. Let's just turn off. Wait there, sir. Let's just turn the settings down. Oh, okay. It kind of looks the same. So can you see fire in the reflections? Just check what I'm on. Yeah. So I don't know if fire actually reflects in the same way. But it is very cool seeing the sirens and stuff in the reflections there. But yeah, it doesn't look like the fire is actually reflecting. I mean, color-wise, look at that. Okay, so we'll stare there. It's a really lame way of doing it, but... yeah, you can see the color difference in the water and everything. It just doesn't look accurate. Yeah, it just looks more grounded, it looks more realistic. It's doing a lot of work to make it a lot more believable, seeing all those street lights perfectly synced and stuff. Whoa! That's why you wear a helmet, kids. I mean, I'm not sure a helmet would have done much there, but... whoa. It's very impressive. Now, there is other stuff as well. I know I've shown you a lot of the menu screen today, but you've got a frame limiter, which you didn't have in the previous game. In the previous game, if you actually had a GPU that would push this game over 180 frames, you'd end up with micro stuttering, so you'd have to manually cap it. Now it comes with its own frame limiter, which is good. The fact that you can use upscaling and all that stuff, if you're using lower-end hardware, that's a bonus, but... it's really, really much more in-depth. Oh, extended shadow difference. That was turned off. High-resolution shadows? Why was that not turned on? Oh, I think because we're using a preset. Interesting. Motion blur. I don't like motion blur. Motion blur can go away for a long time. Okay, now it's at maximum. Does make me very excited for GTA 6, I have to say. What's your feelings towards GTA 6, guys? Are you feeling excited? Are you looking forward to it? Oh. Anyway, one thing I really want to do is use the benchmark and look at it side by side. So let's load them up and review the footage together. We'll see if we notice any changes while we're playing. Should be good. Okay, so this is actually really cool. So I've got the benchmark running from the Legacy Edition on the left-hand side. I'll just call this old and new. The Legacy Edition, I capped the frames at 150. And the new version, I've capped at 120. I can't actually cap it at 150 because the game caps at 120. Well, I could, but it didn't really matter too much. Anyway, the benchmark is not that useful. There are some noticeable differences in this benchmark, but for the most part, it's a little bit weird. And the first thing in here is, look at this. Weather on 1 is cloudy, 2 is... blue skies. Also, there's rain on the floor in this one. There's not in this one. So it's not a scientific... it's not a good benchmarking tool from a graphics perspective. It's more for frame rate and performance. So bear that in mind. But we will look at it anyway. Let's dive in. So the first thing you'll notice here is maybe the lighting on the tree. Again, hard for me to say because different times of day. But it's the first thing I noticed. Also, some lighting on the house was a little bit different. The glowing here, and this is testament actually to Rockstar. Like, either this calls out Rockstar for a lazy enhanced edition, or what I think is actually more true, how impressive the tech was back in the day to make it look like realistic reflections. But there are some telltale signs. So look at this reflection here on the concrete from the window. It's not immediately obvious. You wouldn't notice it straight away. I certainly didn't. But yeah, so, and also there's like a lighting or like a color science perspective, like the way light bounces off things and changes the color of the object based on the light hitting it. The roof is a really good example of that. Like, it's more of a blue hue here, whereas here it's just like how you would imagine it without any other light interacting with it. But it's subtle differences. This clip is probably the toughest clip out of all of them for me to even notice a difference. Like, if I looked at these two side by side, I don't think I'd be able to notice a difference. They look identical. Even with, you know, a dark background and this lighting going on, it looks so similar to me. Maybe the hue is slightly more blue on this one. But, like, really, come on, bro. It's exactly the same. Yeah, even the graffiti looks the same. I was looking out for things like, oh, maybe the graffiti's different, maybe the brushes look different. They don't. They look exactly the same. This one is interesting. So it's raining on both, but you'll notice on this one, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but you can really see the rain on the Legacy Edition, which is kind of odd. But you see our first example of like the lighting reflections here. Now, when I recorded this clip the first time, there was no rain on the top of this caravan on the ray traced edition. So whether it's the weather that's doing this or just this particular run, or that is genuinely the lighting, but you can really see it's got the reflection of the satellite there, which is kind of cool. Yeah, slightly different lighting on the box. Really picking at straws. This one's tricky. Like, it's really, really difficult. Like, again, can you notice the difference between these two images? Weirdly, there seems to be a lot of like water sitting on everything, whereas this one is very dry. So I don't think it's really fair to compare in this image, because they're different images in the sense of there's different things happening. But yeah, this one I expected more of a range. There's not really much here. You can see a slight difference in the lighting of this sign here, but apart from that, it's really difficult to notice the difference. Like, all these light bounces look the same around the lighting. It all looks very similar. You'll notice the Ferris wheel has like different light shows going on it at different times. So again, it's not that fair to compare. Got the moon there on this one. There is no moon. There is no moon. I don't know where the moon is on the other image. But yeah, it's an odd one. Yeah. No idea. Now this one's kind of cool actually. You'll notice some differences straight away. So if you spend the clip watching the water on the top, that looks different. The bouncing of, the glow effect of the lighting on the bridge is a lot more obvious on the ray traced edition. Also, lighting in the tunnel is actually shown, whereas on this one, completely dark. And that is the same across every recording I've done, which is interesting. And you'll notice here, the moon moves across in that image. They are timed the same, but the moon moves differently. It's kind of weird. So the moon moves here. There's like very little lighting. The moon moves across here. Big lighting. So again, hard for me to like come across with natural scientific call out on that. But yeah. So aircraft goes through. Also, train on this one. No train. Sad times. This portion of the clip, I was really hoping for an obvious jump out between the two. And the reality is, it is near on impossible. I didn't notice any difference. Like, the lighting on the sign looks the same. Maybe the shadows are a bit softer. You can see a bit more underneath of things because light bounces a little bit differently. But I was hoping maybe there'd be like pop-in differences, or you would be able to see more traffic on one than the other. But no, it's it looks more or less the same. It is different on each image, sure, but it looks more or less the same. There is actually one thing. If you watch the pop-in of this tree, when I go back, so on this side, it kind of pops in there. See that? And on this one, it pops in way sooner. Pops in there. So that's a noticeable change. Like, it's really noticeable. It doesn't go full detail until you're that close. Whereas this one probably does it. I mean, you never really see it. It's a lot more refined on the one on the right-hand side, so that's kind of cool. So there is some pop-in changes, but again, I spent a few times looking at it to even spot that. That's weird. You see that bit of road? Look at this here. See that? That's a weird one. Doesn't actually happen on the other one. But you can see the shadow come along the highway here. Whereas it seems to be a lot more consistent on the one on the right, so very nice. Again, flying over here, a lot of popping in this little building. It's really noticeable, whereas you don't see it on the one on the right. So there's actually, okay, I take it back. There was a lot more different here than I first anticipated, and this is probably the most obvious change between the two and the most easiest to detect which one is the ray trace. So just look, you can see actual things in the reflections. Now you can still see things on the Legacy Edition, but the difference is, just look on the side, is the resolution and the quality and the clarity of the reflections. The one on the left is a lot more blurry and you can't really pick things out, and it's a good illusion for low resolution. But this, look, I can pick out the freaking tree. Literally picking out that tree right there. It's kind of amazing. It's not useful at all. but yeah, it's good. Also, yeah, you can see what's going on in the background, whereas this one, you can't see anything. Kind of just see rough terrain. It's all kicking off now. But this is, again, why this is not a great comparison, because there's a freaking truck. There's no truck in this one. So it's using the environment as it would be in the game. But, you know, and I'm dropping down to about 100 frames here because of all the combat. So it is interesting. But again, you can see the detail in this building in the reflections. In this one, you can kind of see it, but not really. So it is there, but there's no actual objects that are dynamic in the reflections, you know. It's all like objects that are completely stuck in where they are. Kaboom. Yeah, the reflections look cool. So there you go. There's the benchmark run through. Very similar, but you can pick up the small things. And I think for the most part, I don't think you really notice a huge amount of difference. I think the performance in like load times is going to be the biggest change. And it does make me wonder what GTA 6 is going to look like. It's going to look good. I know that much. And if Red Dead Redemption 2 is anything to go by, it's going to blow people's minds, which I'm looking forward to. So anyway, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Thumbs up if you did. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.